Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Savvy Money Show with me, your host Sean. Today we're talking a whole host of things, mainly the Fed, their policies, and we'll move on from there, see where we go. Eh? Now, the Fed started buying equities through BlackRock because the Fed, it's illegal for them to buy equities, so they have to use an intermediary such as BlackRock, and then they bought ETFs, and then they bought the junk bonds. Now, I've gone through the different methods they could use because the problem is every crash, because the economy grows, they have to do more and more extreme methods of quantitative easing. With the last one, it was just a case of lowering interest rates, but where they didn't rise them again, they had to be more extreme. Now, we can look at Japan, who are the front runners when it comes to monetary policy, purely because they have more debt to GDP and they tend to do things a decade or two before us. For example, in the late 90s and then in 2013, they were doing quantitative easing programs. They were buying up ETFs, they were buying up equities and junk bonds. No, it worked for a while, but they've been doing it long term. And the problem with doing it long term is people sell out, and when people sell out, they and don't forget to hit that lovely like button, almost as lovely as me. Helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting the video out to more people. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Become part of the Savvy Money Show family. We give each other hints and tips and updates about stocks and shares we talk about on the show. As well as that, you can ask me to look into any share you want, and I don't charge a Discord fee or ask for a Patreon. All I do ask is for you to comment in the box below and hit the like button. Even if you disagree with me, especially if you disagree with me, I like a debate. And if I do something wrong, I want you to call me on it so I can improve the channel. And why not check out the links in the description below? There's lots of others. I've used each one of them myself. I wouldn't give you links if I haven't checked them out myself. If you're looking for a free trading platform which should trade your stocks and shares, you can get a free share worth up to £200 for signing up and depositing a small amount. A free trade only requires a £1 deposit. The others require £100 or dollars, depending on which one you go for. Stake has over 3,500 US stocks on their books, which is the biggest one outside of the US. Whereas Trading 212 is one of the best and easiest platforms to use. But as I said, I use all three. Anyway, on with the show. When people sell out of these ETFs, you ended up with the Bank of Japan owning over 70% of ETFs. Now, they ended up making a joke of the Bank of Japan's policy, and they also compare their ETFs differently to how America and UK does. They don't do it by market cap, they do it by stock price. So if you take Chipotle compared to Apple, now Chipotle's stock price is more than Apple's, yet Apple is the third largest company in the world, over $1 trillion market cap. But because Chipotle's stock price at the moment is more expensive than Apple marginally, then Chipotle would make up over 30% of the ETF. Whereas over in the US or the UK, it would be different. You would have Apple making up a large amount, or whichever company your ETF is focused on. The other factor is buying up equity or ETFs. You will have, with them buying up a large amount of ETFs, that means the demand for ETFs grow, and the ETFs have to go out and buy more stocks. So it props up the equity market. Doesn't help the companies. There's an argument to be made that the Fed going and buying junk bonds helps the companies. There's plenty of companies that wouldn't be around today that are, purely because they bought up the junk bonds. Now, buying up the equities doesn't help. It just helps the equities market and keeping it high and propping it up. Now, the other thing is, when you're buying up equities, even for an intermediary, you've got to wonder, what's your exit plan? When you exit these equities, it's going to cause a sell-off. So there's that as well. I mean, we've talked about the curve, which Japan's already done, and the Fed was considering. We've talked like curve lending and policies and all these in the past videos. I won't go through all that now, but we'll go through the top two really, which is junk bonds and ETF bonds. It looks like they're gearing up, if there's another crash, to buy ETFs, which I think is a mistake. It helps my stock price, no problem, but likes of Jeff Bezos won't bat an eyelid if they buy ETFs or stocks. Why? Because it doesn't bother him. All it does is they're buying it from another person who doesn't want to hold it anymore. It affects the CEOs only in the case of their bonus that's based on the stock price. It's the only way it affects them. And you see how Elon Musk, how it affected him heavily, because he doesn't take a wage. His wage is based, and Jack Dorsey, their wages are based mainly on the stock price rather than getting a monthly wage. So people, sorry about that, are hoping that he will come and save us, which is why they're still piling into the market. But at some point, someone has to pay for all this. It has to stop. And as I said before, it's harder to turn off this magic money tree, because then we will have a sell-off. At the same time, they need to look at what's happened at the countries that have done this before. How likes of Japan have overpaid for ETFs and paid billions in fees to these ETFs, and now it's a case of hardly anyone owns ETFs except for them. They would have been better off letting the ETFs go under and concentrating on the equities at this point, purely because the amount that they've paid out for them, and there hasn't been the uptake for them. It could be classed as a failed experiment over there. Now, you have an argument for both sides, really. You have an argument for the Fed buying junk bonds creates zombie companies, and if they don't buy junk bonds, then these companies will fail, like likes of Hertz, and then a new company will come in, better company, and do better. But then you have the argument that buying up equities and ETFs are not the answer either. It just props up the equity market, and it's only it's the wealthiest that do well out of it. Well, the rest of the country have to pay for it, and then you get the other side of it. Well, does the Fed do nothing then? The Fed's job is to prop up the markets and the economy. So it's kind of, you have win-win situations, such as the links in my description, where if you sign up and deposit a small amount, you get a share, I get a share. And this is like a lose-lose situation. You will always get those who do not. You will always get those who do not like the direction Fed are going in. Me, I'm on the fence either way. I just see it from an economic point of view. I look at all other countries, how they have fared with these policies before. I can see the benefits and the negatives in these, such as with the UK's policies and how they've acted when during COVID-19, and how they have done some things right, but a lot of things wrong as well. And how it's going to cause huge tax rise increases and huge inflation. So I'm just here to give you the information, so you can do that with that what you want. I've said before, I would go into a Treasury inflation-linked security bond. In the UK, I've gone into an inflation-linked gilt ETF. I've also gone into gold stocks, and speaking on that, I have, and the one gold stock I've gone into is Alamas Gold Inc., and it's below its intrinsic value, and it has only 700,000 liabilities, total liabilities, against 3.3 billion assets class. I think now is a good time to go into it. I'll be going in on Monday. Just thought I'd let you know beforehand, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay savvy, stay investing. See you later.